Hello, so today we're going to be making a St. Patrick's Day Leprechaun card. So I just wanted to point out that if you find cutting out the fingers to be a little tricky, then you can do it this way instead. The only thing is that your card is going to open the opposite way, but that's not a big deal. But just so you know that if cutting out the fingers is hard for you, I'm going to show you how you can do it this way instead. Alrighty, so to get started, what you want to do is you want to take your white piece of paper and you want to fold it in half because we're only going to use half of the paper at a time. So I like to go across, and crease up, crease down, and then open it back up. And you have a nice folded edge here to cut. So go ahead and cut right on that fold. Set aside your extra piece, we'll use it later to make the hat. And then take this piece, turn your paper this way, and then again, line up your edges, put your finger down, slide down, fold up, crease down. That's your basic card. So now what you want to do is you want to trace your hand. To do that, what I did was, and your hand will fit better on this paper than mine, but what I did was I lined up my hand so that my fingertips were up at the edge here. My thumb made it in, and very important, this side of my hand where my pinky was lined up right up against the edge here. If you are a lefty, then you can do your card this way with the folded edge. So again, this is the open edge, the folded edge is here. Your pinky goes right up along here. But for most of you who are righties, you want to make sure that your card opens this way, that you put your pinky right up against that creased edge, and then using a pencil or whatever you have, you want to trace around your fingers. There you go. Awesome. Alright. Now notice it's very important that your pinky was on that folded edge because we do not want to cut. If we cut that, then our card won't open. So what you do at this point is you are going to cut out the fingers. However, first, what I'm going to show you on this one is if cutting the fingers is too tricky for you, what you can do instead is just cut along the thumb, cut that right off, and then just kind of work around your fingers and then back up to where the pinky was. And you can stop it right there because when we color, you'll just have some white in the background. No big deal. But if you want to try cutting out with the fingers, I'm going to do it on this one. So a tip that I like to do first is to kind of cut all of my points as I go instead of trying to move in and out, which can be tricky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumb, I'm going to rotate my paper as I go, and I'm going to cut in. But instead of doing more rotating, I'm going to come back out and start back at the top of the fingers and cut that down until I meet where I was, turning just a little bit. And I find that to be a lot easier to cut in pieces like this. So again, around the finger, down, then back out. And start at the top and come down, pull out. Around the fingers. Top. So again, just instead of spinning and spinning, I find it's easier to cut all from the top. So down, stop, come out, and then down, it's out, and then all that's left is to kind of trim this pinky. There we go. Alrighty, so now you have your 2 cards. Again, if you didn't want, if you felt cutting the insides of the fingers was too hard, that's okay. Your card is done like this. If you cut out your hand, what you're going to do is you are going to take your card and you are going to, so it was this way, there we go. What you're going to do is just flip it over. That way that your card will open just like this because you want the fingers to come down. All right, so I'm going to set this one aside because it is assembled exactly the same, except that you have some white areas here, but everything else is the same, except the only thing is for me is the hats. So the hats are going to go on the corners here. So one hat will go on this side or right there on the corner. So you have these to look at in the still frames too, depending on the type that you are doing, but I'm going to continue with this one for the demo. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to color our leprechaun base. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw myself a line, and then I'm just going to color everything below that line orange for his beard. And again, I like to use my marker trick of striping my markers in lines because that makes coloring go a lot faster. So I'd bring one full line down, then another, then another, and working this way is a lot faster. Then if you miss any spots, you can just cover them up. So again, I'm working by striping my marker. That way I fill in my area a lot faster. There we go. All right, next using my black marker, I am going to draw in my leprechaun's eyes, nose, and mouth. So I gave my leprechaun 2 eyes, a nose, and then I make this kind of backwards C, do a smile, and then do a forward C. And then I'm going to give him some little cutie eyes. You can give your leprechaun whatever type of eyes you want. I'm going to color these in. All right, there's his eyes. All right, the last thing he needs before we do his face is he just needs a little pink. So I'm going to take my pink marker and I'm going to color his cheeks. Oops, a little scribble there. Just make those cheeks a little bigger. Fix that. All right, little rosy cheeks. If you don't want rosy cheeks, you don't need them. Then to get the pale leprechaun look, I'm going to use my orange crayon. You can do whatever color you want, but I'm going to use an orange crayon, and I'm just going to press down really lightly, like barely press down around the eyeballs. Alrighty. Leprechaun is done for that part. Now we need to make his hat. To make the leprechaun's hat, you can follow the step-by-steps I have on the slide, or you can work with me. If I go too fast, you can just pause the video. But what you want to do is you want to grab that scrap of paper that you had. And it doesn't matter which way you hold it. We don't need a really big hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. I'm going to, first step is draw on the top of the rectangle. Then I'm going to bring out the sides like that. And then I'm going to bring it down and close it off. Next, I'm going to draw another rectangle in the middle. Put a smaller rectangle inside of that. And then I'm going to give my leprechaun his little strap across his hat. And there's his hat. And then all that's left to do is to color it. So we're going to do the strap black. There we go. Then I'm going to use the yellow for the buckle. I'm going to give my leprechaun a green hat. Because I'm going to cut this out, I'm not just going to be super careful about my keeping in the lines. I'm just going to cut it out in the next step. So if we go outside the lines a little bit, it's okay. There we go. All right, now what you want to do is you want to take your scissors and cut out the hat. And again, I like to cut in pieces, so straight across, straight up, straight across, straight down, and then down, turn, across, down, turn, across. Pull that little piece off. Okay, brush aside your scraps and grab your leprechaun. Now what your leprechaun needs is a little bit of glue, so grab a glue stick. And you want to glue his hat on. So just put a bit of glue right above his eyeballs and then stick on the hat. Now if your hat ended up being super huge, that's okay. Maybe your leprechaun likes to wear super huge hats, or maybe your hat turned out small. Maybe he likes to wear tiny hats. No worries either way. All that's left is for you to write your message on the inside. You can be as fancy as you want with it, or you can just write it more simply. Again, I'm going to do this one a bit more simple. Just going to write Happy Saint Patrick's Day. And then maybe instead of a shamrock, maybe I would draw a rainbow. There we go. And there you have it. There is your St. Patrick's Day card. And again, if you did it this way, your would stick on just the same, except you would write your message on this side instead. Awesome job. I can't wait to see how they come out.